Welcome back to another episode of the Successful Driver Podcast. I am not in the Clear Simple used truck buying studio today, unfortunately, back at home. But we are thrilled, absolutely thrilled to be talking to Chris and Ruth Smith. There's so much I want to unpack with you guys, but thank you so much for jumping on with us today. I just talking to you before we recorded. I am just geeked out to spend a little time with you guys today.
Well, I hope you're prepared for us, but thank you for inviting us on. So
I'm not sure I'm prepared for you guys, and that's the problem. Well, we normally, we just like to get a little background normally when we start this show about your guys's, history in the trucking industry, how you got started and how you've got to this point. So I want to ask Ruth first. Actually, I want to get Ruth's perspective first. Chris, I think you're going to get enough in, but I need to hear from Ruth on this one.
Go ahead.
Well, so just give us a little background on you guys' history in the trucking industry together.
Well, my background came from Chris. So he'll tell you all about how far back his trucking history goes. But my personal trucking history. So we met 25 years ago. Well, no, we met 27 years ago. Got married 25 years ago. And soon after we got married, we moved from the UK over here to the US. And we decided to go truck driving. Now, my background was very much on the sort of office kind of work, store work, that kind of thing when I was much younger. And I don't think I'd ever actually been in a truck at that point, let alone driven one. So everything was new. New country, new profession, everything. So Chris brought me over to the US after we got married. I went to truck.
You make it sound like I
kidnapped me.
Kidnapped you.
He kidnapped me. Made me come over.
This is what you get if you lose your bets.
Ruth, blink twice if you're okay.
I'm stuck. He's got that fixed too. So anyhow, so I went to truck driving school and got my license, became a truck driver. And he actually was officially my trainer
for Dick Simon.
For Dick Simon Trucking. At that time, you probably haven't heard of them. They don't exist anymore in that name, and they're out of Salt Lake City, Utah. So he was working for them already. He got himself set up. I came along, got my license as his trainee.
And we're still married.
And that was 25 years ago, and we're still here together in a truck. So I think that says it all. But anyhow, so we did that he trained me up. We became team drivers, did 48 states, and I got a big thrill out of it. Chris, but by that time had been driving for many, many years. So it wasn't so new for him. It was, kind of like, oh yeah, okay, been here, done that. But it was great for us both to be together doing the same thing, and it worked really well. But then we decided to take a break.
Well, I did.
Chris decided he needed a break from driving.
I wanted to come off the road. She didn't want to come off the road, but I've sort of had enough.
He'd had enough. So we we came out of truck. He went into work for a telephone company as a lineman. And isn't there a song?
Yes, Wichita lineman.
Wichita lineman. Anyhow.
So, a lineman for the county or something like that.
Something like that. And
Glenn Campbell. I know it's Glenn Campbell.
I went to work for an oil tanker or petroleum tanker delivery company. And so I was kind of loose. I was in the office. I wasn't driving. So we went, did kind of like normal ground-based jobs, Monday to Friday, asleep. 9 to 5.
He tells me I talk too much. I'll have to wind her up again in a minute.
I was asked to talk, not you. So
This is only 40 minutes, babe.
This is exactly why, Ruth.
Yeah.
This is why I wanted to start with you.
Recognize that. I'm so glad you recognize that. Go get yourself some water. But then we decided we wanted to. We were living in California. Don't tell everybody, people. Don't tell everyone.
Keep that a
one to
secret.
yourselves, okay? And we wanted to leave California. Couldn't decide where to go. We thought about all kinds of places to go in the US. Eventually, we ended up going back to England because we couldn't decide where to go and live. So we went back to England. Worst thing we'd ever done.
Absolutely.
He carried on working for a telephone company. I carried on working, well, by then for an oil company, a major oil company. We were both in that corporate lifestyle, and we both hated it. It took us 10 years to get away from it.
Sort of as long as this conversation is going to end.
And we decided, you know what? We've had enough of this corporate world. We want to go back to trucking. So we moved back to the US, and we got our own truck for the first time.
Oh wow! So,
over to you.
Okay. Yeah, well, let's hear it from let's hear your background, Chris. Let's kind of hear your side of the story.
Well, I got out of the Army in '87, and I was still young because I went in the Army when I was 17, and spent 7 years in the Army. And I thought, what am I going to do? Well, my uncle back in England was driving trucks all over Europe, so I'm like, that sounds pretty cool. Going to different countries. So I got out of the Army and went back to my, to England. Got a job over there driving in the UK, and then progressed on to driving in Europe. And then I was very lucky to be part of the sort of like, sounds like a Marine advert, but part of the few where I drove from England to the Middle East. I spent 2.5 years doing that, which was pretty mind-blowing. I mean, my very first trip, I didn't think I was going to make it back to the UK alive. In fact, I wrote a letter to my girlfriend I had at the time, told her, you'll be lucky to see me again because I don't think I'm going to make it back alive. But I spent 2.5 years doing that. It was pretty wild. And I spent a lot of time going back and forth to the US because my parents were in the US. My relatives, I was in the UK, so I'd get fed up and then come back to the US. And then in between driving gigs, I was also a musician. I've been playing drums since I was 7 years old. So if there wasn't a music job going on, I would drive trucks, and sort of trucking was always my just backup for non-music jobs. Just progressed, came back to the States, drove OTR over here, drove tankers locally, and sort of just spent my life going back and forth from the UK to the US. And I mean, there was a company over here, which every time I came back, they would rehire me, which was really cool. It was Williams Tank Lines in California. And I would, quit, go back to England, spend a year or two back in England, doing music or whatever, or driving trucks, then come back, and lo and behold, Williams I'd go back and say, hey, can I have my job back? Which they're really cool about it. And then I went back for a long time after my father passed away, and met my wife. I had a driving job, basically just doing UK work, which is really, really tough. Because the traffic over there is just a nightmare no matter where you go.
And the driver facilities.
And the driver facilities are zero
like the standards
compared to over here. I was used to it because obviously driving down to the Middle East from the UK, you have zero driver facilities. And I mean zero. If you get a flat tire, you need to know how to break down your tire, put a new tire on your rim, fill it up, so on and so on. And you need to know, some decent mechanical skills where if you break down, like I broke down once, I mistakenly fueled up in the wrong place in Greece, ended up going north into Romania. And because in Greece, they put a lot of water in their diesel. And further north you go, then it starts to, freeze up. And I froze up, and I'm like, right, how do I get about this? Because you don't have the heating systems in the trucks like you do over here at that time in the 80s over there. So, little things like I got a light bulb, stuck it on a long piece of thing, put a lot of electrical tape in it, stuck the light bulb in the tank of the diesel, and it just took enough of the caking off of it, But
didn't you have to carry lots of packets of cartons of cigarettes and stuff?
Oh yeah, you used to have to carry certain kind of cigarettes, Marlboro Red for turkey, Kent 100s. I don't know if you ever used to smoke, but there's these cigarettes called Kent 100s. They were for the police in Romania. Iran and Iraq used to like Sears catalogs. In England, it was called a different thing. It was called Argos catalogs, but it was the American equivalent is a Sears catalog, because they like to look at the pictures to see what people in the West have.
Wow.
And that's how we got through customs quicker and things like that.
Gifts.
Wow.
And I bought like Romanian bone china with a couple packs of cigarettes, things like that. Oh, it was a wild.
Still have.
And we actually still have it.
It's very good china. There's nothing wrong with it. I can drink my tea out of it quite happily.
So you have it. You have it in the rig right now?
No.
No.
Okay.
It's
I was
too
gonna say,
big.
like that's
smashed to pieces.
I was gonna say, like that doesn't.
It'd be smashed to bits in here. Especially on some of the roads we go on.
That was very durable china.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, it was an interesting job. It not taking anything away from the job over here. It's a tough job because certain things you have to deal with over here. But as far as like what they go through in Europe, it's hard, especially like now they're all on restrictors in Europe. I wouldn't last 5 minutes because every single truck does 56 miles an hour. And that would just be instant go to sleep tablet for me.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
But
I love to ask this question, and I mean, you guys have a wealth of experience, and I'm really interested to ask you a couple of questions, and one I've never asked somebody before. But the first one I want to ask is, what do you think makes a successful truck driver? I want to start with Ruth.
Now, are you talking solo drivers or teams?
I'm going to ask you about the teamwork, but I'm going to ask you about the teamwork in a second, but I want to know, just in your opinion, broad brush, what makes a successful truck driver in your opinion?
Patience, knowledge. I mean, you've got to learn your truck. You've got to know what you're doing. You've got to know how that truck works. Being able to navigate. Sounds like a simple thing, but boy, it's very important. Gosh,
who's the better navigator between the two of you?
Thank you. I was hoping he'd say that. I was getting ready to smack him.
I saw the elbow getting ready. Like it just looked like you were.
I haven't. Most of the time we know we do a lot of stuff which we've been to before. So now we know where we're going to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. So I sort of I'll program it in the sat nav. I'll have basically the quick picture of it, which will basically just show a whole map of the US, and you see the line. Whereas to me, as long as that line's going straight and it's not weaving up and down, I'm good. But then I don't look, and then 5 minutes later, I'll yell back to Ruth, "Oh my God, quick. It's got me turning off here. We've not gone this way before."
We have a different system.
Yeah.
I'll before I start driving my shift, I will look at the GPS, look at the directions, know where I'm going. If I'm not sure, I'll look at it on Google Maps, and I'll look it up and say, where am I going? Where's this turn going to be? So I don't get caught out, with any surprises. So I have an idea of where I'm going turn by turn before I even start the truck. But Chris has a different method. Hence the yelling at me. So, is this the right turn up here? I don't know. So, but yeah, it's important to know where because especially a rig the size of ours, getting into tight spaces where you need to, get yourself out of it. Yeah. It's not fun.
Who does that?
Well, he does. You do, but it's not fun for you.
Who used to get us in trouble?
Oh, I used to get into all kinds of trouble.
And then I used to be woken up. Help.
Well, because I learned not to trust the GPS. For one thing, do not trust the GPS if you've never been that route before. You've got to look it up and know it's where you actually want to go. And things like, the odd truck stop, I'd take a wrong turn. I'd end up in a dead end in the truck parking instead of, if I was trying to get out of the fuel island, I'd make a wrong turn and then I'm stuck. I can't make a U-turn. There's not enough space. So I got to get him up to get us. And this is like in the dark, things like this. And it's not fun. So I've learned to plan everything, plan ahead on everything, know where you're going, know what your plan is, have a plan, I think is the best advice I'd say.
I think that's great. That's sage advice. All right, Chris, can you hold your end of the bargain here on this one? What makes a successful driver?
A successful driver is don't be afraid to ask. Okay. You get a lot of new drivers out there. I got to try to keep this clean. I'm not going to be the first one to use a cuss word. You got a lot of new drivers out there that are afraid to ask, but you also got a lot of older drivers out there that all they want to do is get their 5 minutes of YouTube fame by recording some poor driver, and I mean, I've done it on the people that aren't actually trying to back up. I've actually gotten out to help them back up if they would listen. Some people don't want to listen. They think they're, no, I don't need your help. So I'm like, fine, you hit my truck, and then I'll just, I'll have to open your door. But the big thing is you need to ask if you're unsure. And don't look like I think if you look like a professional, the customer will view you as a professional. If you look like a slob, you're going to get treated like a slob. And I think that's the biggest problem out there is, and I'm not having to go at people that wear flip-flops and shorts. I wear flip-flops and shorts. Okay. I don't wear them in front of the customer. We got a big sleeper. So I'm in the back of the sleeper. I want to get out when we're like Ruth's filling up. So I want to quick run into the store. So I got my shorts on and my flip-flops. But you can still look good wearing whatever you want to wear. You don't have to dress up like the old cowboy. You got your jeans, cowboy boots, your plaid shirt and all that kind of stuff, and your cowboy hat. You don't need to look like that, but you can dress smart. And I think that's the big thing these days. A lot of truckers really don't do that. So the customers look at these guys and they treat them like how they look. And that you're not going to have success like that. You're going to get stuck just doing your general freight because no one will look at you in specialized freight, which is actually, no disrespect to the general haulage. We need general haulage truckers, but the money gets better as you move up the food chain and that you move into specialized, so on and so on, and the money goes up. Are you in this to make a success for yourself? Which most people want to move up the ladder. If you're not in this to make a success for yourself and you just keep a status quo, then you're just going to be living paycheck to paycheck. And you're obviously maybe not even concerned about success. But you have to dress appropriate at the customers.
Well, it's not just dress, it's behavior also.
Well, the whole thing goes hand in hand.
It's how you present yourself. It makes the customer feel happy to have you there. It makes you feel good about yourself. that you're doing a professional job. You're not just sitting behind a steering wheel. So it's having pride in yourself and your equipment and everything else.
Yeah.
Everything goes hand in hand.
Sure.
And it's, if you want to be a professional, be a professional. If you don't want to be a professional, then put up with how you get treated, because it will not change.
All right. Well, I have a question I want to ask you guys that I've never asked anybody on this show, because we have never interviewed a couple before. What are the keys to a successful marriage out on the road?
You want to go
Ruth,
first?
You got it, Ruth. What you got?
Why do I always have to go first?
I'll tell you. Okay, you want to?
No. I want to go first. No, on this one, I definitely want to go first. No, I think it's what is the key to a successful marriage on the road? Again, it's tolerance. It's working as a team. It's being able to listen to the other person. You're listening. Listen to the other person.
I'm listening.
And sort of, and count to 10. You have to be able to count. Now, the reason I say that, okay, it's very stressful. Obviously, it is a very stressful situation. You're 24/7 in a small space, and you got to spend time with that person. You got to find a way of, imagine your 9-to-5 job. If you have a partner, you come home, you see that person a few hours in the evening, and then at the weekends, you have your own space, you have your own time, you have your own friends you go spend time with. We don't have that luxury. So we just have each other.
24/7.
24/7. So we're kind of in a routine because we're team drivers. We're in a routine. He drives nights, I drive days. We have our space away from each other when I'm in the truck driving and he's in the sleeper doing whatever, and vice versa when we switch.
That's why we got a big sleeper.
So having a big sleeper obviously is a huge advantage for us, and for any couples out there, a massive advantage, because you're able to have a bit of separation away from each other, but at the same time you're together all the time. You can look out for each other the whole time, and you haven't got to worry about what's going on with the other person. You're always just a curtain between you, and that's it. So but it's just it's learning how to work as a team. You know your husband and wife, but when you're on the job, it's work, and you've got to think work and not just husband and wife. It's a bit of both.
Sure.
You've got to take the good of like Ruth and then the good of me. The things Ruth does well and mix them with the things I do well. For example, Ruth will do the tarping, like wrapping a Christmas present. I cannot wrap a Christmas present to save my life. Okay.
I don't put a bow on it. I just, make
so she does the tarping. I do the chaining. Okay. Ruth will deal with customers. I'm not the best person with people skills because I don't have a filter. I'm being very careful with you, however.
I just say, well, yeah.
I keep him away from people as much as possible. Don't talk to anybody.
So, to have a successful marriage and work together 24/7, we do everything together anyways. We play golf together. We're very competitive when we play golf together. It's not, to go out and we do have a fun round, but we like to beat each other because we're both very good. We're both very good golfers. Ruth has actually a little bit lower of a handicap than I do at the moment. We sort of go up and down. We both ride Harleys together. She's got her own bike. I got her off my back years ago and bought her own bike. So we do everything together anyways. It's, but it's not saying we don't have arguments. I mean, I know I'm not the easiest person to get along with, and normally when I'm saying something, I'm yelling it. But you got to work as a team. You got to take the best of what she does her thing. I do my thing when we're loading. When we're driving, she takes an hour to get ready before she starts driving.
Because I plan everything.
Woman. Me, I wake up.
Because nothing to do with being a woman. I plan everything. I know where I'm going. I know where I'm going to stop. I know where I'm going to fuel. I know what I'm going to eat because I have everything ready, all my drinks, snacks, everything. I shut that curtain, get in the driver's seat. He won't see me until I take my 30-minute break or whatever.
I'm asleep.
Unless he's asleep.
And me, I get up.
With this one.
I get up and within 15 minutes, I'm in the driver's seat.
And then it's, can I have a drink? Can I have some coffee? Can I have a sandwich? Can I, but that's how we are. That's how we
That's
work.
what we do.
So that's the routine.
Yeah.
But we do have arguments like anybody. You got to have an argument. It wouldn't be natural otherwise.
Well, and you guys have been together for a long time.
25 years. Yes.
Yeah. And I'm sure Beverly II has helped create a little bit more space than some couples out on the road together have.
Yeah.
I really wanted to ask
We're
you
very
guys,
fortunate. It makes a huge difference.
Let's talk a little bit about Beverly II, because you guys won Overdrive's 2021 Pride and Polish Custom Rig Competition.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That was cool.
So tell us about it.
Well, I'll take you back to the beginning when we first started, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
When we first started talking about getting big trucks and stuff, I was still sort of humming and hawing. So I'm like, well, that's a lot of money to spend on a truck. What if we just go with a normal truck and just go home every other week? And we were going across Texas working for a company. And I just woke up. I yelled out to Ruth, where's the next rest area? Because I needed to go to the restroom. And it was like 90 miles or something. And I like, right, we're getting the big truck with the toilet. That's how we actually finally decided, or that's how I actually finally decided to go with the big truck.
The finding someone that you can build a relationship with sounds like has been really crucial for your guys' success on the road.
Huge, absolutely huge. Because I don't like, if we're, as the old saying is, if the wheels aren't turning, we ain't earning. Mm-hmm. So the longer we're sat, we're not making no money. Mm-hmm. But Beverly II, obviously Beverly is named after my sister who passed away in 2002. It's got other things to do with my family members, like it's the date, the truck number is my sister's date of birth. The 7 lights on top of the sleeper are for December 7th, July, when my dad was born. The lights on the bumper is after my mom's date of birth. And the yellow, it's not a copy from another truck that was out there, which actually is a different shade of yellow. But the yellow on this truck is basically after the house that I grew up in San Jose, California. That's what it's all, this whole truck is to do with my family. But I designed the outside. We should have been a little bit longer, but Peterbilt cut me off. They wouldn't let me go any longer. Which I sort of thank under my breath now when I go into certain places. I really thank them for doing that. Because we're long and it's a pain to get into some plaplaces. We get in there, and we will back on docks as well. We do back docks.
So where are you guys parked right now? Where's Beverly parked right now? Where are y'all at?
We are near Pratt and Whitney in Dallas.
Nice.
We just delivered this morning. We're parked up, and if we're gonna be here for a while, we'll get a rental car. It's too darn cold to go out and play golf. Yeah. It's like 29 degrees here.
Oh, wow.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's not very warm.
But it's not raining and it's not snowing. So
it's no rain.
It's fine.
No rain and no snow.
We'll take cold over all that.
I mean, if we are here, we'll probably end up going to Top Golf or something.
There you go.
It's how we sort of get our exercise.
Chris and Ruth,
Well, getting out of the truck too.
I hope you can, because I hope it gets a little warmer for y'all too. Because I wouldn't blame you.
I hope so. Yeah. I look forward to springtime. Yeah.
It's not exactly warm in Kansas City. It's actually colder than.
Oh, you're in Kansas City.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
It's snowing there, isn't it?
No, not right now, but it was definitely a lot earlier. So
yeah,
we've had a lot of snow the last couple of weeks for sure. You guys, I can't tell you, this has been so much fun for me. Thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with us, telling us about your history, your life on the road. It's been one of my favorite episodes ever. So thank you guys.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not been a complete disaster for you.
Well, we're going to cut out all the things you say, and we're just going to focus on what Ruth says, if that's okay.
That's sort of,
fair.
I would not be surprised.
I don't have a problem with
But
that.
I didn't swear.
You did it. We have to send you a hat or something for that. But yeah, that's good. That's going to do it for the Successful Driver podcast. Thank you again to Chris and Ruth Smith for spending some time with us. It's been a lot of fun, and we'll catch you later.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate it.